Hello and welcome to this RITE installation guide. I will show you how to install and configure RITE and how to establish the Qlik connection. 6 main steps are needed to set up RITE correctly. First is to make sure you have all necessary things together for this process. Step 2 is the RITE installation, leading to the RITE license import and configuration of the Qlik connection. And lastly, you need to import your SSL certificate and set at least one access allocation rule. You will have received 2 emails, one with a license to operate RITE and one with the login details for the partner portal so you can download the RITE installation file. Before you get started, you must first ensure you have admin permission for the server on which you want to install RITE and the Qlik management console. Also make sure your standard TCP port 4000 is enabled to store data with RITE. Please enable port 4001 if you need to have the RITE management console accessible from outside of the server as well. If you haven't done so already, go to the Windows Defender firewall and create a new inbound rule for the relevant ports. Important to note is that with an open TCP port, you should change the RITE standard password to make the RITE management console access more secure. You also need to have your SSL certificate ready for the fully qualified domain name under which the server will be accessible. This, of course, is not required if you plan to use Qlik server-side extension instead of HTTPS as communication between server and extension. For this scenario, an SSL certificate is not mandatory but still convenient for later use cases. If you have everything prepared, you can execute the RITE installer as administrator on any Windows computer. You can look up every supported version of Windows in the manual. Select your version of Qlik and choose Install SQLite driver if you want to have the demo database. If you wish, you can change the installation directory to your liking. Accept the terms and conditions and click Install. The next step is to configure a Qlik connection in the RITE management console to connect the RITE server with your Qlik server. Switch to any supported internet browser and open localhost 4001. Log in as RITE user and inform in capital letters as password. Logged in, you first need to enter your RITE license in the last navigation tab. Also make sure to change the standard login under password settings to limit admin access to the RITE management console. Now on to configure the actual Qlik connection. This step varies depending on your Qlik product. First, I will show you the correct measures if you use Qlik Sense Server. Before we configure the settings in the RITE management console, we need to ensure that the RITE service is authorized to work with the Qlik Sense Server. To do so, open up the Qlik management console and click on Certificates on the bottom of the navigation menu. By clicking on the Add Machine Name button, a new field appears where you enter the fully qualified domain name of the server on which RITE is running. Now you have to create a password for the certificate. Make sure to check the box that says Include Secret Key. It is also important that you export the certificate in Windows format. Here you can see the path where your certificate will be exported to. Remember where it is stored, because you need to copy it from there. If everything is correct, you can click the Export Certificate button. Back in the RITE management console, you can now enter the RITE paths for the listed services. Just enter the fully qualified domain name as seen in the examples. Here you can upload the certificate you just exported with a matching password. If everything's entered correctly, you can test the connection and save if it was successful. To add RITE extensions, you need to upload them by clicking the Extensions tab back again in the Qlik management console. You can find them within the RITE installation path. To upload the demo apps, click on the first navigation tab Apps and import the QFV file from the same installation path as the extensions previously. If you want to connect the right server with Qlik Cloud, you need to enter your tenant URL and your API token from a user with tenant admin permissions in your Qlik tenant. To get the API token, log into your Qlik Cloud account and the tab API Keys can be found in the profile settings. Click on to generate new key, type in a description and the expiration duration. Here we suggest setting the longest duration possible. Copy and paste the generated key into your Write Management Console. Hit the Test Connection to Qlik button, and if that is successful, you can save the settings. Now on to importing the right extensions. This again is done logged into your Qlik Cloud Hub in the Management Console area. Go to the Extensions tab and click on Add in the upper right corner. The extension file can either be uploaded or placed there via drag and drop. You can find them within the right installation path. To make sure right extensions work for Qlik Cloud, you need to add security policy rules. After a successful upload of the extensions, directives must be set under Content Security Policy. Click on Add and enter the right server name and the tenant URL into the pop-up window. In order to use Write, Edit and Form, the directives Connect Source and Image Source must be checked before saving. For Write Plan and Dual KPI, add a second Content Security Policy. Its origin should again be your tenant URL. Now check every directive box and click on Add. To upload the demo apps, switch to the Analytics Service menu and click on the Catalog tab. In the upper right corner is an Add New button. Click on Upload App in the drop-down menu and upload the QFV file. Once the connection to Qlik is established, you need to upload your SSL certificate in the HTTP settings. The certificate needs to be issued for your fully qualified domain name or a wildcard certificate. This will secure the communication with Write and makes it trusted. There are multiple options for the certificate format. Choose the right one and enter a password if it's required. If the upload is successful and the certificate is valid, the Write server will restart automatically. Now the Write Management Console is reached at HTTPS. If you use Qlik Sense Server and just want to create a quick internal test environment, for that you don't have to have an SSL certificate. You can use the server-side extension instead. To do so, you need to switch to the Qlik Connection tab and click on Server-side Extension Configuration. Use the toggle buttons to enable SSE and to use an encrypted connection. We highly recommend using this option only for small scenarios within the corporate network, as it can lead to complications with multi-node cluster. For any other usage outside the corporate network or for clustering, please use HTTPS. Now that Write is installed and has a connection to Qlik, the final step is to set up an access allocation rule. The tab Extension License Allocation allows for the definition of license allocation rules for users when they use Write extensions for the first time and require a corresponding set of licenses. You could, for example, add a rule that will allow any new user access to the Write Management Console. For more details about access allocation rules or the Write Management Console settings and Write in general, see our other tutorial videos or have a look into our manual. This is everything you need to know in order to get started. You now have multiple possibilities to enjoy Write and its extensions.